Hello my gorgeous peopleini. This reading is going to be for all 12 signs of zodiac, but especially when it comes to that particular point, when it comes to the actual March 2022, what can we really look forward to? What particular thing is actually going to happen? What particular thing is actually going to take place, which is most certainly and most importantly going to play a quite significant role when it comes to our own development, but also on another hand when it comes to the beginning of an important unfoldment, which is going to bring kind of like a lots of opportunities into our lives. So now I'm going to start with my gorgeous Aries, my beautiful Aries. You need to understand that when it comes to the actual March, you are going to have a really important opportunity. This opportunity is just going to be something that it's really going to, on one hand, open your eyes, but it's at the same time also going to help you to get in touch with yourself yet again. This is important for you for so many different levels of your lives, because it is also to do with you kind of like a really wanting to break through, but at the same time it's for you wanting to have a specific, a rather particular change. So now my gorgeous Aries, most importantly and most certainly you are going to have a really important opportunity when it comes to the months of March 2022, but at the same time you see it's the 11th of March that it's going to be quite significant, but also it is the 21st of March that it's going to be quite significant, but also on another hand the 29th of March is also going to be really important. You need to pay attention to these 3 days, because these 3 days are going to bring you revelations, you know. At the same time these revelations are going to be completely different. These days are going to be completely different, but you will notice that it's all pointing to this particular specific thing in your life that you should be paying attention to, okay? That this is important and you should be paying attention to, because it's at the same time it's to do with like a pretty much so an opportunity of the actual lifetime. This is going to be really, really important, my gorgeous Aries, indeed. Okay, so the next sign that I'm going to be having a special message for the month of March 2022, it's my gorgeous Taurus. Taurus, like, oh my god, you know, it's very interesting what is actually going to take place. You also need to pay attention to the 12th of March, to 22nd of March and to the 30th of March, because these 3 days are going to be the key dates when it comes to you seeing something so important, seeing something so significant, which is going to help you to make sense of things, you know, that you just couldn't make sense so far. But it's also at the same time going to give you that inspiration, okay? It's going to give you like this absolutely wonderful energy that you need to have in order to kind of carry on with your lives. You are gonna see something, and that what you're gonna see, it's at the same time, you know, gonna be absolutely impossible not to notice, because it's connected to a very sacred part of your life. At the same time you will notice what is missing in your life. What do you need to bring into your life? So why are you not doing it? Okay, so this is why this is so important. So my gorgeous Taurus, what is going to happen to you this March? You are going to really rediscover yourself as well in so many different ways, because you know it's about the optimism, it's about the inspiration, it's about this wonderful energy that is almost at the same time almost immediately going to increase your vibration. And this in itself is going to be a sign that you should be kind of become this should become a part of your path, for example. So my gorgeous Taurus, by the end of March, most certainly you are going to see a very special and very important part of your life, very important element that is missing in your life. And what that is going to be most certainly, most importantly, down to you to see, to recognize, to notice. However, you are most certainly going to be aware of it almost immediately. This aspect is going to start changing everything, because it's going to help you to reconnect with yourself, but at the same time it is just kind of gonna make you feel so good about yourself and about your next step as well. The next sign that I'm going to be having a special tarot card message is going to be my gorgeous Gemini. Gemini is like, oh my God, you know, you are going to have a very powerful revelation when it comes to like some kind of like a very sacred gift that you have. So the very sacred part of you is going to come out. Very sacred part of you is going to be highlighted. Very sacred part of you is going to be enlightened part of your path, which is at the same time going to become a very strongly a part of your future planning. So it's just pretty much so you are going to have like such a vision, and you need to pay attention to the actual 7th of March, 17th of March and the 27th of March, because these 3 days are going to all be completely different yet again, but they are going to be highlighting something very unique about yourself, something very special about yourself, something that now it's time to take on the next level. And the challenging situation is, oh my God, it's not the right time, it's this and it's that. No, baby, no. This is all part of the challenge. So very sacred part of you, it's going to require for you to take this on the next level, on the next stage of your life. And no one can do this for you but yourself, my gorgeous Gemininis. This is what you most certainly and most importantly need to remember. Okay, so the next sign that I'm going to be having a special message for is going to be my gorgeous Cancer. My beautiful Cancerinich, you know, it's just like ooh la la. You have got like a pretty much, so the 11th of March is just going to be like a really kind of mind-blowing for you. The 11th of March, then the 21st of March, it's also going to be quite mind-blowing, and I'm going to tell you why. And then you have the 31st of March, which is going to be the day when you're going to have one of the biggest and most important confirmations of your lifetime, and you will see exactly what I mean. But what do I mean to pay attention in these particular days? Listen, my gorgeous Cancerini, when it comes to the actual month of March, you are going to find yourself like on a very unusual journey, which is going to reveal a very unusual aspect of your life. And I say very unusual aspect of your life because, you know, you're going to feel a very kind of strong connection to make a quite big readjustment. And the readjustment that you're going to make is just going to go kind of, you're going to feel to take it slightly like kind of like in a different direction to what you would normally take, you see, to what where you would normally go towards. This is because you have been prepared for this time to come for a long time. So the power of your subconscious mind is going to take over. So it doesn't really matter. You don't have to think too much. You don't have to prepare yourself too much or anything like that, because your response is going to be exactly what you should be responding, the way you should be responding, and how you should be responding at this particular time of your life. These days are important, but March in itself is super significant because you are these 2 days, first dates that I've mentioned, you know, it's the 11th of March and the 21st of March in particular. These 2 days are going to reveal to you a very strong connection with a specific part of your life. But the way this is going to happen, it's going to happen very spontaneously, when you least expect it, without any planning whatsoever. So these 2 days are going to be 11th and the 21st of March are going to be completely different, but the things that are going to take place and things that are going to happen in a rather spontaneous way is just like pretty much so going to give you such an important idea about like some kind of new start, some kind of new beginning, some kind of new venture, some kind of bright new prospects which are about to kind of enter your life. And then by the time you get to the actual 30th and the 31st of March, you know, you will actually have a very powerful confirmation that this is exactly what you should be doing. So you are going to have the new path which is going to be revealed to you, but it's going to happen in the most possible spontaneous way ever. And this is when things become really magical, because I'm saying you're going to be guided like with your internal light. You're going to be guided by your spirits. You're going to be guided by your guardian angels, you know, at the same time, you know, and this you just most certainly cannot go wrong. So it's just a pretty much so you understanding that, you know, you are going to start some kind of path. You are going to start very important project, and the next stage of this important project that you are going to start, or shall I say, you're about to plant a very important spiritual seed. So the next stage of that is actually going to be in June and July 2022, because already June and July 2022, you're going to be able to see like a huge, like a quite giant progress that you're going to have throughout this process that I'm talking about. So you are most certainly and most importantly you're going to find yourself on a very, very interesting new beginning, my gorgeous Cancerinis, this month indeed. The next sign that I'm going to be talking about is going to be my gorgeous Leo. Oh my God, you are just going to get such a particular information here, and you also have quite important days to pay attention to which informations these are going to be, because the informations that you're going to get hold of, informations that you're going to kind of find out, informations that you're going to become aware of, they're going to open your eyes, but they're also on the other hand going to make you so much more wiser. You will know what you need to know. You're going to find out what you need to find. You're going to need to find out at this very moment in your life. This is going to make sense to you. Don't you worry whatsoever. You will know exactly what I mean, and the informations that I'm just pretty much so talking about are going to become quite obvious on the 4th of March, 14th of March, the 24th of March as well. These 3 days are going to be the key days when it comes to you kind of finding out this information and then finding out more along the way. So you know, as the time goes by, you're going to kind of find other specific informations. You're going to come across other specific informations which are going to be related to what you kind of heard in the first place. So it's going to be like the 4th, 14th and the 24th of March that are going to be really, really important indeed. But then again, by the time you get to the 31st of March, it's about the confirmation as well, because you're going to be told something by someone really important to you right at the end of the month, who's going to confirm something so significant here that was really slowing you down. And this is going to be the last drop, which is going to make the glass overflowing. And once the glass is overflowing, you know, my Lord, you know, this is going to lead towards like a very much so very important and passionate time of your life. It's about to start manifesting itself. This is to do with your passion, and it's to do with you carrying on with your life, and it's to do with you doing things strictly in your own way, without listening anybody else, or without paying attention to anyone else, or without trying to work and live your life with other people's ideas in your mind. This is pretty much so strictly for you to understand that it needs to come from you. So if something doesn't make sense to you, then you just remove yourself from that situation, for example, and just ignore it, because this life is way too precious to kind of waste on things that don't make sense for much longer, and waste on people who don't make sense, or waste on people who are having like a completely opposed opinions to us. Okay, so it's pretty much so. These specific informations that you're going to find out on these 3 days, you know, they're going to be really big. They're going to be really kind of mind-blowing in so many different ways. This is going to mean to you so much personally, because a lot is going to be answered, you know. And by the time you get to the 30th and the 31st of March, the direction that I'm talking about, it's going to be highlighted here, and in a very, very enormous and in a very powerful way. And at the same time, by the time you get to the 30th and the 31st of March, is this sense of timing that you are going to have, how long is something going to take, a specific part of your life, until you kind of achieve the maximum greatness. Something is just going to take slightly longer, but that most certainly shouldn't put you off, because it's all about you kind of finding out a very, very, very important informations, which are, you know, gonna kind of make you look at certain things in life that you haven't got anything to do with, a lot to do on the outside with, kind of, oh my Lord, you know. But then again, at the same time, it's just going to bring you closer to yourself, and this is exactly what you should be doing. Remain on your path, stay on your path. You know, this is going to bring you closer to yourself, because it's going to provide you with this information, which is just going to be like one of the biggest confirmations of your life as well. You will know what to do. You will know which steps to take. You will know after the end of March, you know, which dimension to walk into, and this is the most important. You staying true to yourself. Okay, so the next sign that I'm going to be having a special message for, it's going to be my gorgeous Virgo. My beautiful Virgolini, it's like, oh my God, you know, this March in general, it's going to be big mama in so many different ways. It's going to be huge, massive, enormous game changer indeed. And in fact, you know, oh my God, an unexpected situation is going to happen, an unexpected situation is going to take place. And this unexpected situation, it's really kind of, on one hand, it's going to shake you up in the best possible way, but on another hand, it's going to open your eyes and it's going to make you aware how precious this life is, how weird this life can be, but on another hand, how precious this life is at the same time, and how powerful you and your energy become as long as you stay true to yourself and as long as you follow your intuition, no matter what is going on. This is how you preserve your essence. This is how you preserve your power. This is how you preserve yourself in the world that it's like a rather unusual and very strange and very bizarre at the moment. Your job is spiritual job to stay true to yourself. This is something that you have to remember, my gorgeous Virgolinis. Please do not think with somebody else's mind. You are powerful, you're amazing, you're unique, you're very special. Think with your mind. Open it up even more. Now it's time. Your third psychic eye, this eye is actually going to explode when it comes to, by explode in the, you know, in a positive, obviously in a really optimistic way, because a lot is gonna come to you, and a lot, the more it comes to you this month, the more you will want to learn about it. This is important. But going back to how I started this reading, my gorgeous Virgolinis, you know, it is the situation that it's actually going to take place on the 20th of March. On the 20th of March, there is going to be very, very unusual situation which is going to take place. On the 20th of March, you're really going to be surprised. This is going to like kind of like really shake you up a little bit, you know, it's just going to throw you out of balance, but then at the same time from you, at this moment in time, it's going to be required to respond really quickly, to respond almost immediately, because if you don't respond really quickly, if you don't respond almost immediately, you know, you're going to have to wait for the next stage and the second stage of your kind of life, you know, to provide you with this. And you are going to have the second stage, which is going to be very kind of strong in September and October 2022, if you kind of don't go for this right now. But my pretty much so advice would be just to kind of like a step into it, go forward. You know, if you don't throw yourself in the water, you will never learn how to swim. Now it's time, my gorgeous Virgolinis, to yet again jump in that water, and even if it's really murky, it doesn't really matter, just swim until water becomes clear. What I want to say to you, my gorgeous Virgolinis, so it's going to be the 20th of March that is going to be so really super important day, and this is the situation that is going to come up. It's going to surprise you like there is no tomorrow, but it's going to require from you to respond almost immediately. You don't have to like kind of think about it. You don't have to take your time and respond, because you will know exactly what you need to do. But the only thing is going to be stopping you, it's like a maybe, oh my God, I'm not prepared for this, I'm not prepared for that, or maybe I maybe financially can't do this, financially can't do that. No, baby, no. Jump in the water. Just remember, even if the water is murky, just swim, swim, swim until the water becomes clear. This is my point. So the 20th of March is going to be an absolutely enormous key day. But before that happens, you know, you've got the 12th of March, which is going to pretty much so going to give a clue. The 12th of March, you're already going to have a clue what is going to happen to you on the 20th of March. You're going to get a little flavor of what is going to happen to you on the 20th of March, but by the time you get to the 30th and the 31st of March, it's all about the information that you're going to have, that you're going to be provided with, which is going to kind of like make you aware of the fact that you are going to need to change a couple of things in your life, because something is going to be just slightly prolonged. But you again must not let that put you off, because the point is you being true to yourself and staying on your path and just carrying on with your life in the middle of the stormy storm indeed. Okay, so now the next sign that I'm going to be having a special message for, it's going to be my gorgeous Libra, my beautiful Libra. You know, you also have to understand, you know, the 7th of March, the 17th of March and the 27th of March, you know, these 3 days are going to be completely different, but there is one particular particular thing that you will be able to share when it comes to these 3 days, you know, your particular feeling, your particular emotion, you know, your what is on your mind and how you're gonna feel. It's gonna be pretty much so in a connection, in touch with each other. So these 3 days are going to be completely different, but there is the certain essence that you're going to be sharing, something that is just making you feel so uncomfortable, something that is making you feel so uncertain, and something that has been draining your energy for way too long, even without you realizing, you know, your energy has been drained. So now it's for you to establish where this is coming from before it becomes too late. I'm not saying it's going to become too late, but then again, sometimes you can just prolong certain things in your life unnecessarily because you didn't notice them happening on time. So this is down to your karma, and this is down to your spirit, this is down to your soul, and above all, this is down to your spiritual journey. So this in itself, these 3 days are going to reveal to you which aspect of your life came to an end. You have got everything you needed to get. You have kind of found out everything you needed to find out. You learned everything you needed to learn. You got out of it everything you could possibly get out of it. So now it's time to move on, because now this is going to start kind of maybe damaging your energy and your life a little bit until you realize yourself what this is. Sometimes this is particular kind of maybe job coming to an end. Sometimes this is particular, maybe like a friendship came to an end. Sometimes this is particular kind of like a maybe person who you are around, or certain group of people that you are around. Maybe they become really dark and negative and you want to move away from. It's just you need to see and need to establish what came to an end, because now this is leading towards your own energy kind of blockage. So by the time you get to the actual 31st of March 2022, you will become aware of a very, very interesting opportunity that is just going to come completely out of the blue. And this is because you allowed this process to continue by trusting yourself and by realizing exactly which aspect of your life came to an end. And sometimes you just need to change kind of the place maybe that you are going to on daily basis, on weekly basis, on monthly basis. Don't you worry, because the 17th of March and the 27th of March, you know, as I said, you will know, because you will know exactly what this is, and it's just an aspect of your life that is just making you really sad and really negative, and it's just draining your energy, and it's becoming like a little energy vampire around you. So as I said, you have kind of like learned something so, oh my lord, invaluable. You can learn something mind-blowing here. Okay, so that what you have learned, it's a mind-blowing extensive knowledge that you're going to need later on in life. What you have learned now is just something that people like some people don't even learn in their lifetimes, you know. So this is something really important, but most certainly it's going to be super beneficial for you later on. Okay, so the next sign that I'm going to be having a special message when it comes to the month of March is going to be my gorgeous, my ever so precious, my beautiful Scorpio, my gorgeous Scorpionic. You know, this is like quite interesting months that you're actually going to have in so many different ways. It's the actual 5th of March, the 5th of March, the 15th of March, and the 25th of March. These 3 days, my God, you need to kind of like pretty much so see, because over these 3 days, each day, it's actually going to give you the certain clue, and the clue that you need to have is what the next step is actually going to be. And what the next step is going to be, it's going to surprise you, because it's going to require from you to make the necessary adjustment in order to make this happen. And I say it's going to surprise you, but you know, you will see how interesting this life is, but you will also see how sometimes, you know, certain things, you know, you can plan as much as you can, like a big mama, you know, you can plan as much as you can, and you can focus on the certain path of your life as much as you can, and you can be so certain about this and focusing on it like, oh my God. But then again, the beauty of life is like a certain things that keep on popping out and surprising us. So there are you know, this is gonna like kind of lead towards a very important success as well, and also towards a way out when it comes to maybe like a problems with the finances, financial situation, and your personal security. You know, these 3 days are also going to give you a clue what the way out is going to be financially as well. But it, you know, it's to do with the finances, with things that you're doing, with things that you're planning, but it's also going to lead towards an important adjustment that you're going to need to make. By the time you get to the actual 31st of March, like everything is absolutely going to be clear to you. Every single thing that I've said so far, because the 31st of March, it's going to bring you this opportunity with like so many other unlimited possibilities around that you wouldn't normally be aware of if you didn't become aware of these clues, like to start with on the 5th, the 15th and the 25th of March as well. These clues are going to be your directions. These clues are going to be your new beginnings. These these clues are going to be your pretty much so very powerful source of inspiration that are going to help you to reconnect with yourself on a very, very high level. And once you do this, almost immediately you just become bored, you know, with a certain parts and a certain aspects of your life. And this, my gorgeous Scorpione, is your sign that these specific parts of your life came to an end, you know, and it's time to kind of like move on. You know, it's about moving on with your life and listening to yourself, paying attention to your subconscious mind, reconnecting and connecting to your own intuition and making the most of it. Okay, so the next sign that I'm going to be having a special message for, it's going to be my gorgeous, my ever so precious, my beautiful Sagittarius, my gorgeous Sagittarini. It's like, ooh la la, you know, it's like you have got the 11th of March. It's going to be really important day for you here, because the 11th of March, you know, the certain situation is going to take place, and it's really going to surprise you because it's going to happen completely out of the blue. And that in itself is going to put you in a very unusual position that you did not think that you're going to find yourself at this moment in your life whatsoever. First of all, you're going to think like, oh my God. But then again, at the same time, it's going to give you that power and that ability to actually see yourself and the specific situation from a completely different angle. That in itself is really going to answer an important question to you when it comes to like what your life, when it comes to like a sacrifice, because it's going to lead towards an important sacrifice that you're going to need to make. Let me just say this again. So it's going to be the 11th of the actual March that is going to be really important, my gorgeous Sagittarius. So it's the 11th of March when this is actually going to take place. But then again, you have got the 21st of March. On the 21st of March, you are going to have a very powerful, very unique, very unusual, very bizarre clue, but very powerful clue, very strong clue, very sharp clue. But at the same time, it's going to be very, very unusual. And that in itself is going to get you thinking. And once you start thinking, there are going to be lots of ideas. And once you find yourself thinking about lots of ideas, you're only going to have yourself to blame. Why am I not doing this? What am I waiting for? Don't think about the finances and things like that. If something like comes across your way, you want to do something, but the financial situation is not allowing you. No, baby, no. Your job is just to follow this, to kind of carry on your own path, no matter what. You know, if you don't jump in the water, you're never going to learn how to swim. Even if the water is really, really murky, it doesn't really matter. Just keep on swimming until the water becomes clear. This is really important, and I need you to understand this, because by the time you get to the 31st of March 2022, there is going to be the opportunity of your lifetime, but only the beginning of, only you realizing this, only you finding out about this, only you being aware of this. These are only to do with like beginning stages, but they're going to fade away if you give your power away. So do not give your power away. Do not get like a devilish energy to take the better of you by constantly listening and focusing on the negativity, because there is only so much we can all take as a collective when it comes to things like this. So you just have to like kind of free yourself from this like kind of a very negative and dark stage of your life that hasn't got anything to do with you, but it's pretty much so to do with a lot that has been going on the outside. This is important because it's all about you kind of like really finding out the ways, you know, that you can kind of do something so significant in your life that you didn't know they existed before. before. So it's all about a step in the right direction, but also listening to yourself and paying attention to your intuition as well. So this is going to lead towards literally towards your own rebirth. It's going to re-energize you like there is no tomorrow, and no one needs to talk to you about it. No one needs to explain this to you. It's all about your internal feelings, and the way you're going to feel things. It's going to like kind of bring a very powerful vibration within you. So this is when you're going to know what specific aspect of your life do you need to pay attention to. Okay, so the next sign that I'm going to be talking about is going to be my gorgeous, my ever so precious, my beautiful Capricornians. My gorgeous Capricorn, this is brilliant because you're going to do something so important this week, this month. And what you're going to do is like probably one of the biggest things you have ever done. You are incredible, you're very powerful, and you're very psychic. And you will know what I mean, because there is a vision that you are going to have. And the vision that you are going to have, it's going to happen on the 15th of the actual March 2022. First of all, you're going to see something, my gorgeous Capricornians, on the 15th of March, and then you're going to get a certain clue, and then you're going to have a certain realization. And once you have this realization, you will like pretty much so know what the next step is going to be, and it's going to be different to the one that you had it in your head, beforehand, because what you're going to see is going to change quite a lot in the best possible way, because you will want to hurry up, you will want to speed up with certain things in your life that are very much so important to you, when it comes to your personal finances, when it comes to the things that you're working for, when it comes to the things that you want to protect around yourself, financially and things like that. And also, when it comes to you having a very, very powerful idea, and the idea, so this is going to pretty much, so the idea that you're going to have, this is going to lead towards an important, like kind of like a very much so strong idea. And the idea that you're going to have, it's going to happen on the actual 25th of March. The 25th of March is going to be the second day, which is going to be really important here, because it's all about this the idea that you're going to have. So first of all, you're going to see this, and this is going to like kind of inspire you like there is no tomorrow, and you will know exactly which part of your life you need to make an readjustment with. By the same time, by the time you get to the actual 25th of March, it's about this idea that you're going to have, how you're going to do this. Okay, so first of all, it's going to be this realization. Then the 25th of March is going to be the big one here, because it's about the idea, like another idea how you're going to do this. So it's first of all intuition, inspiration, what you're going to see, what you're going to find out is going to change everything, because it's going to get you thinking, it's going to get you going. But by the time you will still not know how to do things exactly. So there is a big mama coming on the 25th of March, where you are going to have a massive, huge, enormous answer how you're going to do this, but it's going to come in the form of idea. I hope I'm not too confusing, my gorgeous Capricornians, and I really hope you understand what am I trying to say. So it's first of all going to start as an inspiration, like you're not going to be able to like kind of forget about it. It's like a vision, it's like an inspiration, it's like, oh my God, it's going to touch such a beautiful parts of your spirit, beautiful parts of your soul. It's going to inspire you, and you're going to understand how powerful you are as soon as you're kind of like get in touch with yourself, as soon as you're showered with these feelings. And so by the time you get to the actual but you're still not going to know how to do this exactly, but you will strongly know that this is to do with your calling. It's going to be undeniable, it's going to be almost impossible to ignore, but you're still not going to know how you're going to get there, how you're going to do this. But then the 25th of March is going to be big mama, because it's bringing you a huge, massive clue how exactly you're going to do this. So by the time you get to the 31st of March, to the very last day of March, this is when you're already going to start getting things going. The process is already going to start, and it's brilliant. And as soon as this process starts on the very last day of March, you're almost immediately, by the end of the day, before you go to sleep, suddenly something is going to come to you out of the blue, other ways how you can make the situation even better, even more beautiful, even more important, even more unique, even more beautiful, even more successful for you as well. It's going to be mind-blowing indeed. Okay, so the next sign that I'm going to be talking about, it's going to be my gorgeous, my ever so precious, my beautiful Aquarius, my gorgeous aquamarinis. It's like, ooh la la, this is a brilliant time. This this is a brilliant month in general when it comes to your own success, because now most certainly things are gonna start like kind of going like a big time in terms of success. This is going to be really big month indeed. And I want to say to you that the 7th of March, you will see what's missing. Something is missing in your life, and what is missing in your life is going to become evident on the 7th of March. And also when it comes to the actual 17th of March, again, this is going to be kind of, there is going to be another clue, that this is like another clue. It's going to be about what's missing in your life. By the same time, there is also going to be a very powerful and strong sense of timing as well. And this is another thing and another clue that you are going to have. So now, you know, by the time you get to the 30th, you know, the 30th of March is going to pretty much so gonna already provide you with the 2 new directions ahead, 2 new directions right in front of you. It is as important as like ever for you to understand that both of these directions are as important. You need to understand this and you need to remember this, because you're gonna seem like you're gonna be in a bit of a challenging situation where you're gonna think that you need to pick only one direction. No, baby, no, you take both. You're gonna be absolutely fine. So there are 2 things that you need to do, 2 things that you need to get on, 2 things that you need to bring into your life. No matter what, you know, you will be able to do this, because at the same time, in between the actual March and October 2022, this is a long time, very long time when it comes to you having this power of concentration, but above those things that you're working on. So you will have this power to do so many things at the same time effortlessly without any problems whatsoever. So you should not be worrying about this. And also, on another hand, my gorgeous aquamarines, you know, and I'm keep on saying this, and now I'm saying it again, you know, you need to see. I know I have to be a little dark lala, but if I see something, dark lala is gonna you know, it's gonna come out no matter what. Dark lala has to come out, because at least you're gonna be aware of it. But also when it comes to the 7th and the 17th of March, you know, both of these days are kind of going to provide you with realization. You're gonna realize a little snake. Who is a little snake? You know, so you're going to become aware of who is a little snake around you. And, you know, snaky little bastard, but, you know, at least you will know who is a snake around you. So on one hand, you may not be completely surprised, but then on another hand, you know, it is just basically something for you to kind of like just be aware of. You know, it is just for you to kind of be aware of who this is. And as I said, like, you know, it's not that you're going to be completely surprised, but at the same time, I would strongly suggest to kind of like keep certain things to yourself that are really important to you. Don't talk about them to people who are you uncertain about or who you're unsure about and things like that. Just keep certain things to yourself. That's how you're going to preserve your energy. That's how you're going to preserve your power. Okay, important. Okay, so the next sign that I'm going to be talking about, it's going to be my gorgeous, my ever so precious, my beautiful Pisces, my gorgeous Piscelini. You know, this is for March 2022. My gorgeous Piscelini is just a pretty much so this is your time, and I really like it pretty much so. You are gonna have such a huge moment of your own personal enlightenment, and I really like it. I think that you have been through a lot. I think that you have been worrying a lot. I think that you have been quite negative. Please don't get me wrong, you know, everybody, lots of people have, but because you're so kind of like open-minded, you're very psychic, you're very kind of psychic, you kind of understand things through your own emotion on a very high level, so you can't really help with things that you feel, because if the majority of like a people around us, around the world, are very, very sad and negative, you know, sadly you're gonna be kind of like able to kind of feel this, not sadly, but you will be able to feel this vibration and this negativity on much higher angle. On one hand, you can feel this and you can not be certain so much on a very high level, from a very high aspect, what something is or what is going on, and things like that. You can just feel this vibration within you. If you think that something is wrong, then most certainly something is wrong. If you think something is right, most certainly something is right. And these are all your psychic feelings, like kind of talking to you and communicating you at the same time, like guiding you, and this is very sacred. But on another hand, it can drain you a little bit, so sorry, not necessarily drainage, like, oh God, I'm so tired, I can't be bothered to do anything. But it's like it affects your way of thinking, it affects your way of planning, and that ultimately affects your optimism, and your optimism is going to affect your energy is going to affect your vibration is going to affect your way of thinking, your way of thinking is going to affect your way of planning. So you see, it's all like this ludicrous spiritual circle, spiritual domino that we are talking about, that can take so much from us. And this is why I'm saying that you have kind of like been thinking a lot, and maybe subconsciously you have kind of like closed a certain doors in front of you. And this is nothing to do with you personally, this is nothing to do with you like doing this to you and just a kind of like this is like this is a main factor. No baby, no. It is like, as I said, it's just naturally you have heard certain things, and then without even realizing you kind of prevented the certain path ahead of you when it comes to your near future. So this affected you, which is completely normal. And you're not the only sign that got affected by it. Almost everybody in this world got affected by it. But then at some moment in time, we just need to carry on. We need to snap out. We need to think about our path. We need to think about what our next step is going to be, next stage is going to be, because you have been slowing yourself down with something. And what you have been slowing yourself down with, it just affected your personal development. And this is what you should be doing. This is what you should be paying attention to, no matter where you are at, no matter what you're doing, whether you're working, whether you're looking for work, whether you're hunting for a job, whether you're retired, it doesn't really matter. It's to do with an important aspect of your life that most certainly, most importantly, you should get yourself on right now. And what this is just like kind of, maybe you're not even realizing how much this actually affected you subconsciously. And this is an integral part of your life, an important part of your spiritual journey that you should be on. So what this is going to be revealed to you on the 11th of March, on the 21st of March, and the 27th of March. These 3 days are going to be completely different with everything that's going on. But these 3 days are at the same time, you know, your situations and the things that you will hear, things that you're going to become aware of, things that you're going to realize, you know, certain inspirations, you know, it's all going to be kind of like completely different, but at the same time, it's all going to be completely connected as well. So it's just all about this, paying attention to these 3 days and what you're going to realize, because these 3 days are going to be completely different, but all these 3 days are going to lead towards something very specific. Because you will have enough of something, you will have enough of the certain part of your life, certain aspect of your life, certain things happening and unfolding in a certain, like, very slow and very negative and very unusual way. And this is going to be also brilliant for you at the same time, because by the time you get to the 31st of March, the very last day of March, there is an opportunity that it's going to come forward, that you're going to become aware of, and it's only going to become the beginning of it. You see, the opportunity. So naturally this needs to happen. Naturally, you need to go through these days in order to see where you are, in order to understand how far you have come. But at the same time, you need to remember to give credit to yourself, to give credit to great things that you have done, to give credit to your projects from the past, you know, because this in itself, it's an important time of your life where you should recognize your own accomplishment. And this in itself, it's also going to be playing an important role when it comes to this, and when it comes to you, my gorgeous Pisces, indeed. So by the time you get to the very last day, the 31st of March 2022, the 31st of March, it's all about this wonderful opportunity, and you wouldn't become aware of this opportunity. You wouldn't even realize this opportunity. You wouldn't even kind of notice this opportunity if you didn't go through these things that I've already said so far. So you're going to be prepared for this moment. So by the time you get to the 31st of March, it's all about this amazing new stage, amazing new part of your life becoming pretty much so available to you. And that's exactly how you're going to feel. This is becoming available to you, but it is only the beginning of, you know, and it's brilliant because at the same time, you know, you're going to be kind of in a very deep thinking mode, so you must not overanalyze the situation too much, because when we start with this, we can just end up in God knows where, you know. So I'm just saying that pretty much your subconscious mind is going to be really powerful, so you just go with your own internal feelings. You will know exactly what am I talking about. So it's all about the 31st of March and that opportunity that is going to become available, and it's going to be almost impossible to ignore. But these are only the beginnings of, my gorgeous Pisces, of the whole new stage, which is is about to enter your life. At the same time, you know, you need to understand that by the time you get to the actual 21st and 22nd of April, this is when you're going to have a very powerful continuation with this. You see, 21st and the 22nd of April are going to be, these 2 days are going to be pretty much so the days when you're going to be able to see the outcome already of things that we have that I've just mentioned so far. So this is brilliant. You just have to trust yourself, believe in yourself no matter what. Don't slow yourself down because, you know, things are so uncertain, because things have been uncertain for a while now, for quite a long time, and you will reach the stage and the point in your life when you don't want to wait any longer. You don't want your life to be affected anymore. You don't want to be in this stationary position. You don't just want to think like, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Now it's time for action. And what action I'm talking about, the month of March, it's about to reveal, most certainly, most importantly to you, my gorgeous Piscelinis, indeed. Okay, my gorgeous people, thank you ever so much for watching my videos. I love every single one of you. I'm sending you brightest blessings, lots of love, healing, peace and light. So I'm sending you brightest blessings, lots of love, healing, peace and light to every single one of you. Thank you ever so much for watching my videos. Sasha Bonasin, Psychic Medium. Love you. Bye.